following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's a Tuesday edition of Talkin Cowboys presented by Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the Dallas Cowboys, as we chip it and we dip it here in the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star in Frisco alongside professional football analyst Heckma Harrison.
Sultry voice.
The sultry voice.
I'm just going to call me a professional football animal. I was like,
Whoa,
yeah, I like that.
I
like that. I like how that sounds.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hate that.
Let's
got
go.
That image in my head. I'm going to have to call you something different. We've got our resident Super Bowl champion, Isaiah Stanback. Cowboys Insider Rob Phillips is currently busy being a Cowboys Insider. He is writing a story at this very moment that'll be up on DallasCowboys.com later. I don't know what the story is. We'll have to ask him whenever he comes in. But we've got plenty to react to. Jerry Jones just hanging up with the fan a couple moments ago, and he did drop some nuggets.
Yeah, he did.
He dropped a couple nuggets for Cowboys fans out there, including one that we sort of tossed around yesterday, was what is the option to replace Lyle Collins at right tackle? And we now know the current option. Now, Lyle Collins, according to Jerry Jones, is now in the appeal process of his 5-game suspension that was handed down by the NFL. He is still not able to play this Sunday against the Los Angeles Chargers. So still no hope for him this week. However, the appeal process is underway, and maybe that 5 games gets trimmed down a little bit, or even better than that, it's erased completely. So there's things here to think about, including who is going to be the backup. Well, starting at right tackle on Sunday, it'll be second-year undrafted free agent out of Texas Tech, Terrence Steele. He will be your right tackle on Sunday. Reaction? Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, there's a reaction, and I think this team desperately needed to find a swing tackle solution during training camp. They came away with saying that Nsekhe and Steele were your answer, and that's what we have to go to war with, guys. I mean, look.
Rally the freaking troops, huh?
It's just what you got to do. I mean, if you've ever learned the serenity prayer, it's God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and courage to know the difference.
Bring it home, Harry.
This is the courage to know the difference part. Hey, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, and you have to accept the fact that, you know, we're in a situation with Lyle Collins where he's not going to be in the game. He can't play through an appeal. They're going to make it as uncomfortable we're not going to get much information on this whole thing. It's a 5-game suspension. We have to go forward. There's nothing else to it.
That's it. You got to roll with what you have. All right, and that's where we go. We got Terrence Steele coming in here. Still got to find a way to stop that Bosa boy and the rest of his crew. And this is what we got. They'll put together a game plan. Now, again, I want to remind everybody that even if we had Lyle Collins, we were going to have our hands full with this guy on the defensive end. So we were going to give help regardless. He was going to have assistance, whether it's Collins, whether it's Steele, whether it's Nsekhe. It doesn't. Oh, my goodness, everybody.
Oh, my gosh. It's Rob Phillips.
Rob
Oh,
P.
my goodness. Hello. Look
come
who it
on
is.
in,
Rob P.
Continue with your point, though, before we get to
Yeah,
Rob.
I mean, I was just amazed by how swole he is. He has to have his zip down.
Yeah,
because
it's pretty impressive.
Jesus.
Medium.
No, but regardless of who was going to be playing our right tackle position, we were going to have to assist them. Right now, you might have to assist them more now because he's not a Pro Bowler out there. However, they were going to need some help. It's not like we're just going to sit that person on an island out there and just say, hey, block Bosa all game.
No, that's not going to help you sleep at all at night when you say island and Bosa and swing tackle. So, here we are.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Talking about the right tackle.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's why I'm late, actually.
Is that what you were writing on?
Yeah.
Update us.
Well, you guys know what I know. I was a little surprised it just came right out there. But
do you think he said? I mean, was it tongue? He said it so quickly. It was like there was no secret, and then most coaches don't play their hands this on a Tuesday.
I think Jerry. I mean, you heard what he said about Terrence Steele. I think he wanted to come out and say we got a lot of confidence in this young guy.
Okay,
I think that was the message behind it, probably. You know. And he gave us some insight on, like you probably guys just talked about it, but why they're not moving Zach out there. So That was interesting.
Kind of reiterate for
Yeah.
the people that didn't.
Well, they don't want to. It's kind of what Mike said all last year.
Want to shuffle the cards?
Don't want to have to switch 2 spots out of 5. So I don't know. I guess best 5. They like best. I know for a fact best 5 is something they think holds water. But in this particular situation, they're willing to say, hey, we've got a young guy who started 14 games last year. Mm-hmm. Tynasecki was on the injury report last week, but I think he was full by the end of the week. So I don't know if it's that. I think maybe they like this young guy. So we'll see what happens.
And that's kind of confusing to me because I guess if you're looking forward and you're saying after Collins returns, the best 5 scenario of moving 1 position or 2 positions out to the right side, sure, that makes sense because then you would have Martin at right guard and then you have Collins at right tackle. But if you look backwards to 1 week, the only thing you're switching is your right tackle. Mm-hmm. Because if you put Connor McGovern at the right guard spot, he played there a ton last year, six starts last year. Of course, he started there week 1. You would only switch out the right tackle, and you would replace Lyle Collins with Zach Martin. Mm. So I don't know if the shuffling of the cards holds as much weight at this very moment as it did a year ago when it was a revolving door.
I don't disagree with you. However, you want your all pro that you have there. You want to protect your backside and you want to protect the inside. If worst case scenario, say this Bosa boy goes off, right? He gets up the field. What can Dak always do? Step up. Right. However, if we're a little bit weaker on the inside than we are on the outside, you don't want pressure up the middle. Right. Running. So you prefer to have pressure on the outside. So I think that plays a part of it as well. If at least Dak has an escape in terms of stepping up. I don't think he wants to escape by getting out the pocket and running. He can escape by stepping up in the pocket.
I was going to ask you guys that yesterday. What's worse, middle pressure or edge pressure?
Middle, all day long.
All day long?
All day long.
Yeah.
All day long. Because I can say as a quote-unquote running quarterback, I would have outside pressure all the time. Teams would blitz me all the time thinking contain, when in reality I make one move, get outside of them, and be gone, right? And get to whatever kind of space I needed. Internal pressure, that's rough. Because I can't step up. Your natural instinct as a quarterback is to step up in the pocket, right? So if you can't step up, now I'm trying to step away. I'm trying to step sideways and trying to find a gap between the D tackle and the defensive end. And a lot of times those guys can retract their steps and come back and get you, right? So they can always go upfield and come back inside, right? But when you have pressure coming from the inside, there's nowhere to go.
Plus on the outside, you can chip, you can do all these other little things and add basically surrogate linemen on the outside to help.
12 personnel, just like last week, right? That's why I was so surprised by our 12 personnel. I mean, those guys, I don't know how many plays we had with those guys, but they showed up a ton, right? And Schultz and Jarwin. Those guys were in there a lot together.
Yeah, I'll try and find that number for you here in a second. But you're right. I mean, you're going to have to protect Steele on the right side. You're going to see a lot of 12 personnel, which is not the most entertaining form of offense whenever you have guys like this. But you're also missing Michael Gallup, too. So it's not like you're taking a big-time playmaker off the field this week specifically or in the weeks moving forward. So you have a little bit to play around with, and Kellen Moore's going to have to certainly do that. Another thing that was addressed during the Jerry Jones interview on 105.3 The Fan was Randy Gregory and his status as yesterday, as Zach Martin and Brandon Knight came off of the COVID-19 list, Randy Gregory went on to it. And so Jerry, much like he was with Zach Martin last week, still very hopeful. Luckily, they don't play Thursday. They play Sunday. And who knows, maybe if that were the case last week, Zach Martin might have played. But now he has the confidence that Randy Gregory could potentially go through that. What is the idea of getting him back like right now, Rob, and what would have to go right?
Same thing as Zach last week because he's vaccinated. It's those 2 negative tests 24 hours apart, and then it depends on whether he's got symptoms. The reports yesterday were that he was asymptomatic. Jerry said not severe symptoms or something, so it just depends. If he does have some symptoms, then he's got to be 48 hours free of those. So this happening on Sunday or Monday, whenever it popped up, I think he's got a chance to get back.
Yeah.
I think Zach, that was a pretty accelerated timeline last week.
It was pretty quick, and he still wasn't able to get back, unfortunately. However, he's back this week, which shows that he really didn't have a whole ton of struggle last week either. Outside of Randy Gregory, how do we feel about the edge rusher spot last week? I mean, Dorrance Armstrong made a play. Demarcus Lawrence, of course, forced the fumble. I mean, there's a couple things there that were pretty good about the edge rusher spots. How do you feel about it last week, Heck?
Well, I mean, I think that we've seen Dorrance Armstrong take those strides through training camp and OTAs, and he just seems to be a bigger, faster version of himself in 21. I feel confident. And again, it's back to the serenity prayer. There's nothing we can do about this. Everybody in the league is going to be dealing with this. And you hate to see, I won't call it a healthy scratch, but just a guy that's due to a test, asymptomatic. He could possibly play if he passes these two tests 24 hours apart. I think as a franchise, we just have to have the mentality that we're just going to go forward with what we have. And I think guys like Armstrong, I think Basham have shown you that they can be those rotational guys, and Bradley Anai. So give all of these guys an opportunity, and also Chauncey Golston coming back as well. I think that if he's obviously active on game day, I think it gives you a little bit more confidence with replacing the player in Gregory.
Armstrong during 27 snaps, which, by the way, was only 10 snaps less than what Randy Gregory had. I mean, Gregory had 37,
Played a lot.
Armstrong had 27, and they had the same amount of pressures. They had 3 hurries. Nobody got really close in terms of those two guys of a sack or anybody on a good Tampa Bay offensive line. But the fact that Armstrong had the equal amount of pressure, it's pretty impressive to see how he, like you said, has come into himself and kind of blossomed as an edge rusher, Rob.
Yeah, he has, and he was this close to a strip sack on Tom Brady. Which
how he held on to that ball is really beyond me.
Old man strength. Oh.
Yeah.
Really,
hey, how do you?
Old man strength.
I mean, you can almost hear him hit that arm and the ball not come out. That's something.
It was Jeff Heath against Aaron Rodgers in 2016. How in the hell did that not happen? But that would have been a nice feather in his cap. You're right. He had a great training camp. Dorrance did. They need more pressure, though. They need more pressure. Dan Quinn talked about it yesterday. Some of that is Tom Brady. I mean, that's what he does, Isaiah. He gets the ball out quick. Yep. But they were around him some, I mean, they had some good rushes, and I thought they used they used everybody because of the humidity and the weather on Thursday night. But there were times where they didn't get there, and you're right, Kyle. That's a good offensive line in Tampa. They got to affect Justin Herbert more than they did against Tampa.
So, and I'm trying to think of the way that people would line up against the Chargers. But guess who you would be going against if you're Dorrance Armstrong and
Slater?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like that matchup.
Rashawn
I like that
Slater.
I like that matchup. I definitely like it for Dorrance Armstrong.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Did you see Rashawn Slater last week?
He's getting rave reviews, isn't he?
Dude, he shut down Chase Young. Shut him down. It was the first time Chase Young's been shut down since he was. Okay. Oh, guess what? In college at Ohio State, playing Northwestern against Rashawn Slater.
I know what you're doing right now.
I'm telling you.
I know what you're doing, and I don't want to be a part. I don't want to be a part of the gotcha question. And I told you so.
I'm not doing that yet.
Okay.
He wants a do-over on the draft.
I'm not going to do that yet.
I see what he's doing, and I'm not going to let you do that to me. So what do you want? What do you got?
I'm very impressed with Rashawn Slater, and I always have been, but I'm not going to do that yet.
Okay.
We'll save that for later on if that needs to be. However, he looked really good, and whoever's going up against him, it's going to be a tough task. Now, the rest of that offensive line, which has been completely redone from the Chargers standpoint, is vulnerable. So I think it allows a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence to maybe have a big game coming up Sunday.
So he's going to need it. I mean, we're going to have to get some pressure. I mean, the thing is, get home. If we're going on the blitz, get home. And that's going to have to be the going theme for this defense because of our weaknesses on the back end. As we strengthen it, I'll just say that, as we strengthen the back end of our defense, getting home is going to have to be the idea this week because we can't just allow a quarterback like Justin Herbert to sit back and pick his spots.
And I said, Brady had time in that game, but I thought DeMarcus played really well.
Yeah, he did.
Heck yeah.
He was, that's a tough matchup against Wirfs, and he was around the ball. Obviously had the forced fumble, was in the backfield some, so that was a good start for him considering all the time he missed. But do you want to stand on the table for Micah Parsons after an April full of saying we need to draft this guy? You want to tell Kyle that?
Whoa! Like I said, we're not doing that yet. We're not doing that yet. Not yet. I'm going to let it play out a little bit longer.
My man over here was very quiet.
Look at,
he was pretty
shut down
quiet.
Chase Young.
I mean, we're talking about backup players, right? Or guys that come in and fill in for our starters, right? So we're talking about, obviously Terrence Steele coming in, fitting in. That changes drastically different than what we have on the defensive side of the ball. Gregory to Armstrong is not as far of a fall off as it is from Collins to freaking Steele. So as we look at those comparisons, I'm not worried in that regard. I think we're gonna have to get pressure somewhere else. Anyways, it's not gonna be this is our freaking Von Miller or whatever it is. He's like they're getting shut down. So I'm not concerned about Gregory. Obviously, we wish we had him. We hope that we have him
in the game.
It's not out at the picture yet. So we hope that we have him, obviously, but it's not as dire a situation as it is on the offensive side of the ball.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a Cowboys fan, you're looking at the defensive side and thinking, we're still going to have a pretty decent day. Yep. At least, hopefully, we'll have a decent day.
But you're
we're not
right,
going
Kyle.
up against Tom Brady.
But you are right. I mean, that Washington football team defense, they had their hands full with the Chargers offense. And you would think that they would have been able to generate a lot more pressure, and they didn't. I mean, the Chargers went max protect. They knew what they were up against, and so they protected their quarterback. And so they're just the things that happen within the game where hey, this guy is going to be under fire. Get the ball out your hands so you don't get taken out.
You know what the Cowboys did?
At all times.
Yes.
Cowboys did that as well on Thursday. I mean, max protect, get the ball out of the hands, and they threw it 58 times. How about 12 of them called at the line of scrimmage, checked out of in terms of run plays? We're going to talk about a little Kellen Moore play calling and a little communication thing between quarterback and offensive coordinator when we come back here on Talkin Cowboys, presented by Tostitos.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Whether you're watching from home or you're cheering in the stands, with Essilor lenses, you can see every exciting play.
Come on, Bean.
Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Do the business. Do the thing. There it is. We got to get Rob P his glasses, man. That's why
I know.
Anyway, that's for another
Rob
day.
P handles all the communications in regards to it, but doesn't have his own shades.
I know.
Yeah.
Before Christmas, we'll figure it
We
out.
need Rob P Island Edition Essilor glasses.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Let's get that sponsorship
Let's do
going.
that.
You're
man.
big enough for that, right? I mean,
I don't know.
I think you are.
I'll run it up to the Essilor folks and see. We'll find out quickly.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
just so you know,
Pick up the Rob P editions today.
here's an idea. One thing that came out of the coordinators yesterday, all 3 coordinators talked with the media, and Kellen Moore got a chance to go up there and kind of talk about the imbalance of pass and run, and it was also a topic of conversation that we had yesterday. And he said we called 28 run plays, right? 28, which is kind of decent whenever you still look at 40. What would that be for even numbers? I'm terrible at math, so that would be 28, 30. So it'd be 28 and 30. So pretty even in terms of calling. 12 plays, however, were checked at the line of scrimmage from Dak Prescott. So I want to ask from a former quarterback standpoint, how easy is it to check out, and how much do coaches hate it when you check out that often?
I mean, you check out based upon your look.
Okay.
So typically you come up to the line of scrimmage with 2 plays now. That's pretty much how this league is going. So if Kellen Moore called a run play, Dak comes up to the line of scrimmage. If the leverage isn't to your advantage, if your offensive linemen don't have the advantage in terms of leverage, if the numbers don't add up, if you have 6 blockers and they have 7 or 8 guys in the box, you're checking out. So Dak Prescott always has the power to get the team in a better play call. So he's not going to run the run play just because coach called the run play. It's his job to make sure that it's a good look, whether it's run or pass. So regardless of what Kellen Moore calls, if it doesn't look good, once Dak gets up to the line of scrimmage, he's going to check out of it. So that sounds like that's exactly what he did.
My question is, what percentage of NFL quarterbacks have the authority to check out of plays?
All of them.
All of them. So we're not talking about something that's foreign. Guys basically they call 2 plays in the huddle anyway. And so
it's your job to make sure that we run a good play.
So, in going and watching the game, obviously Tampa was showing a lot of 7 in the box looks, and then checking out of them at the line of scrimmage as well. But they were bringing the pressure. I love it and I hate it. I love it because you pay your quarterback what you give him, and you want him to have that control. Again, all quarterbacks in the league have it. I also think that for a defense that needs as much help as they can get, I think that part of it, the rhythm of football, I think that throws your game plan off because you're putting your defense out there a lot more than you want to with 3 and outs and what it takes when you just throw the ball 3 times or what have you. So, look, all of this works hand in glove, and I don't know throughout the course of a football season, will this come back to bite us if we're going to do this? If this is who we are, or if we're just going to say, look, Tampa was Tampa, and we won't have to go up against those type of 3-4 looks because, look, the Chargers are the same way as far as their look, and they have a lot of dogs in their secondary and obviously Bosa, so they will show those same kind of looks. Will Dak do the same thing in the game versus the Chargers?
People need to also understand that as a defensive coordinator, you can declare what the offense is allowed to do. If you come up and you put 7 or 8 guys in a box and you kind of have an idea of what they typically do out of certain formations and different personnel groups, maybe they wanted to take Zeke out the game. Maybe that was Tampa's approach. Maybe Tampa was like, yeah, you guys just aren't going to run the ball against us.
And we've seen that over the years against Zeke.
Yeah. So, I mean,
they'll load that box against him.
So maybe they felt better about their chances with the ball, with Dak coming off an ankle, with Dak, all the shoulder issues through camp. They were like, we'll roll the dice and we'll just make Dak throw the ball. Because there's a greater chance that we'll get an interception through the air than we would get a fumble with Zeke running the ball. Maybe that's what their approach was, and they took it away from us.
I go back to what I said Monday. Like those loaded boxes, like you said, we've seen those over the years, and they had a different guys up front blocking for Zeke in the middle. They had Travis Frederick. Zach Martin usually is in there. Mm-hmm. And they don't care. They'd run it anyway, and they didn't do that in this game. And I think they saw the matchups. I mean, that's as good a run defense. That's the best run defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
and when there's 8 in the box, and you like your chances on the outside, especially when Murphy Bunting goes out on the outside for them at corner, and you have the receivers you have. I mean, I understand why they did what they did. What I was a little surprised was we heard all offseason how great Zeke looked, and he did look good.
Yeah.
He didn't get that touchdown where Jarwin misses the block, and maybe he could have shook him, but I think it was mainly the block there.
Yeah.
He looked really good. Could you got him involved some other way? We talked about how some of the short passing game functioned as a sort of the running game. Mm-hmm. Could you, Zeke's had 77 catches in a season in his career. Could you kind of get him going a little bit that way? That was my only thing.
And that's my tiff with it as well, because the reason, let's be real. I hope people don't really have an expectation that Tyler Biadasz and that freaking Connor Williams were going to move Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh off the ball.
It's not going to happen.
If that's what you guys were expecting, then you have false hope, because that's not reality. You're living in Rainbow Land right now. Okay, that's fiction land. So let's not think that was going to be the case. So the reality is, anything that happens behind those guys easily takes us out of a run play. Right? If those guys shift the linebackers over one direction, we got to check out of this run because we don't have the leverage. right? We know we can't move those two jokers off the ball, so we can't get up to the second level. If we can't get up to the second level, then these linebackers that they had in Tampa could roam free, and we know them boys could run and hit too. So that's the reality. It sounds like it's starting to really look like they wanted to take Zeke out the game, but now that falls on whose shoulders? Kellen Moore. We can't run the ball, Kellen Moore. You knew that coming into the game. It's not like you just found that out when you got there. They had them two dogs on the roster before you showed up to the field. So now, how do you get Zeke involved? That's when you start having to say, we paid you a lot of money, Kellen Moore, right? We believe in you. We re-upped you. Be creative and get one of our best playmakers on this team the ball.
I think that's a great point, because if you're one-dimensional in week one, you can get away with it. You can be okay. You can throw it 58 times and run it 14 times or whatever the total ended up being and be fine. However, going through the rest of the 16 games this year, you can't be one-dimensional. You're going to have to figure out how to run the football, even against tough competition, much like you saw with Tampa Bay. Now, I don't think we're going to see a Tampa Bay talented front the rest of the year.
Yeah. Washington.
Okay, that's fair. But that's after Thanksgiving. I mean, you've got a little bit of time to look at that one.
Twice.
Yeah. We'll see them twice in 4 weeks. So, yeah, you're right. We will see that front. But outside of them, it's probably nowhere close to what Tampa Bay brought to the table. You got to find a way to run the football. As we continue this conversation, though, I wanted to open up the phone lines. Let's get some fan calls in here. 888-855-2297. Once again, it's 888-855-2297. Give us a call, and we'll answer some of your questions live here on Talkin Cowboys. And as we continue this, going up against the Chargers, we're going to preview the Chargers defense on Thursday. We've got some time to kind of dive in on them a little bit later on. But in your early studies, what are you looking at to take advantage of this week? What are you looking at? Is it their secondary that's susceptible? Is it their front seven? What are we looking at from an offensive standpoint to take advantage of?
I mean, I'm gonna sound old school after we just talked about how Kellen Moore is not, wants to throw the ball and not run his, Zeke's head up against the wall trying to get the running game established. I just feel as though you have to at a certain point. I think it helps your young defense to get in rhythm when you have a running game that can continuously take time off of the clock. It's field position and ball control. Those are the certain things that win you games in the NFL. And obviously, if we're going to be committed to throwing the ball that we are or have shown in the first game, then we're going to have some lopsided games like this, like we saw last year, where you're throwing for a lot of yards, but you're still losing the game. And that's just because you're not, even with time of possession, it's just not allowing you. It's just not going to allow you the room for error that you would have if you still ran the ball. I mean, that's just football 101.
Yeah, I think we need to approach this game with that mentality. We need to get this thing going on the ground, and I think that we can. I think Washington averaged about 5 yards per carry against those guys. So obviously they have a dog at running back, but guess what? We do too. So we need to get him going. I think it's very important to get Zeke's confidence back coming off of last year. Not to say that he lost a lot of it, right? But when you have a guy of that caliber, you need him to know that I'm supported. You need him to know that, hey, coming off of a year that's not up to my standards, I need to know that you guys still are riding with me, right? And I did my part last week in blocking, and and when I had the opportunity to run, I did what I could with what I had. I need y'all to feed me this week, because I need that confidence going into this season, and you guys, the rest of my teammates, need that confidence so that my offensive line blocks a little bit harder, so that my receivers put their head in there and go finish blocks. Jarwin, right? Guys like that, plays like that, they need to know that this guy's going to bust his butt. They need to know that he's capable of breaking loose again. They need to be reminded of the old Zeke, and he needs to be reminded of the old Zeke. And if they do that, then I think we're going to have a heck of a year on the ground.
I agree. That was my only thing going back to this game, because Kellen Moore could argue, like, we were one-dimensional and we had the lead with a minute and a half to go.
Great point,
Yeah. So that's the argument, even though he did say, I mean, he was ready for that question. I mean, he called more runs than we thought he did, you know. But that being said, I agree. I think you've got to get Zeke going a little bit. And he'll do whatever the team needs him to do. That's proven over the last few years. But I think coming off of last year, how he's looked in preseason, give him some opportunities. But I do wonder, and with Zach Martin being back I think there was an ESPN stat over the course of Zach's career, they're averaging like 5 yards a carry with him in the lineup. So having him back at right guard will certainly help. But we'll see what happens. But I think they need to get a little bit more balance going over the course of the year. But I wonder, Tony Pollard, they want to use Tony Pollard this season.
Mm-hmm.
They've talked about how Zeke, you want him fresh for December and hopefully January. Mike said that during training camp. So we're going to see more Tony too.
No, I love what you said, and we talked about Tony Pollard at length about what his impact can be for the Cowboys. And I think with Michael Gallup being out, I think that also gives you an opportunity to see Tony Pollard in that position, because we saw it all throughout OTAs, we saw it through training camp, and so he look, man, he moonlights at receiver as well. So I'm really excited to see what the game plan is going to be for 20.
I like that. Because if you can throw him out wide and then have that extra element of maybe having him in motion and doing a bunch of different things, it really opens up your offense, and the Cowboys could take advantage.
Let me say this also. For our offensive line, haven't you seen that, or for any offensive line, when your big guys are firing off and their running game is going, it just builds that confidence for them. And I think our offensive line need that, because all of the talk and whispers, well, you just can't do that versus Tampa. If you want to win a championship, you're going to have to be able to do it. Period.
So, that's fair.
I completely agree. You got to have that blocking up front. You got to have some confidence and build it there. I don't want to cut Johnny off because he's waiting on the phone line.
Who's that?
Johnny on the phone. He's just calling in.
Johnny,
because I opened up the phone line.
Okay.
Johnny from El Paso's on the line. We're going to get to you next, Johnny. We're going to take a break first, and then we'll come back so we don't have to cut you off. When we come back here on Talkin' Cowboys.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way.
Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Does your Cowboys fandom go beyond the game? The NFL Fan of the Year contest presented by Captain Morgan is back, and we're relaunching the search for one extraordinary Cowboys fan who is a positive influence and inspires others through their love of the game. Nominate yourself or others for the chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 56, where the Dallas Cowboys will take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Nominate today at DallasCowboys.com/fan of the year. Welcome back in to Talkin' Cowboys.
Was that in the read?
No.
It was. I knew it was.
No, it wasn't in the read.
Ad-lib. I like that.
Yeah.
Heckma
Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeomans, and now we're joined by Johnny in El Paso. Johnny, how's it going?
Doing good. And yourself, guys?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
Morning. So I wanted to ask, this past game with Anthony Brown being beat by Antonio Brown, this receiving core for the LA Chargers is another good receiving core. Do we see them throwing in Kennedy, or is Brown's leash a little shorter? I saw Quinn's comment about the deep ball, how they were supposed to have safety help. But I mean, let's be honest, is his leash gonna be a little shorter this week, especially coming up against that receiving core?
Fantastic question, Johnny. Heckma, I'll let you take first crack at this.
This is your beat.
This is all
You're
you
on
do.
this beat.
Don't make no. I'm not going to do what you guys are expecting. Look, Dan Quinn said yesterday that Anthony Brown was supposed to have safety help over the top.
Yes.
Yep.
And that may have mitigated your 55-yard touchdown. So, I mean, it's just coverage error. So, not on him, on the safety.
But what about going into this week? Does that change your mind about Anthony Brown?
Well, I mean, what do? You go with Trayvon Diggs versus Keenan Allen, and you leave him, Anthony Brown, with Mike Williams. Is that going to put you? Are you going to go zone in this situation? Or are you going to stay man like you did last week? I mean, these are phenomenal things that you have to ask yourself going into this game, Kyle. But number 30 is your cornerback, so we're going to go with him. And look, we're going to trust him. And hey.
Isaiah's just drinking.
This is
deja vu.
What else can I say? If it is absurd to think that Nahshon Wright wouldn't be worser. It's not a word, but you would definitely. I mean, look, I'm of that absurd thinking that you put a guy out there and let him prove his worth to you. I have other proof that rookies can do it. Cameron Dantzler, third-round pick, Mississippi State. I mean, there are things that can prove that if you put your rookie out there. Not to say that Dantzler is
he was not an all-pro.
None of that. But at the same time, you know where this guy is going to be. You have a future with your cornerback. 2 interceptions, that would be more than what you got right now in your cornerback group. Let's go.
I'm throwing the rookie into the fire. I'm throwing Nahshon out there. The reason why.
What? Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
What'd you just say?
I'm throwing the rookie.
Yeah, y'all are 180
this
from
is
last
awesome.
week.
No. Listen to my point, Heck. Listen to my point. All right.
You convinced him.
Listen to my point. You know why?
There are.
Because I watched the game.
Okay.
I watched the Chargers game, and I watched their number 2,
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, 6'4",
220.
220.
Mm-hmm.
What's Nahshon?
6'4".
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's big on big.
Big on big.
Big on big.
Hey, so I feel better about big on big, right? Nahshon can run, right? Nahshon got Honda hands.
Yeah.
Nahshon's the same height.
Yeah.
So put him up there. Put him up there and put the safety help over the top, huh?
How about that?
If you can get it.
But let me ask you this.
But think about this, because even if A. Brown stays in his hip pocket, still a completion.
Yeah,
with the accuracy of Herbert, still a completion. You know why? He's throwing it up top. He's throwing it up high. Mike Williams is going to go up there and go gadget, and he's going to catch that thing. So even if A. Brown sticks great defense, it's still a mismatch. Just like the back shoulder throw to Godwin. You can't stop that, right? I talked about that a couple weeks ago, back shoulders. You can't stop that play. Guess what else you can't stop? If you're the same size as A. Brown and you're going to get somebody 6'4", even if you're in his hip pocket, if he throws it up high, guess what? He's 7 feet. Can't stop it. So you have to match big, what we just talked about yesterday. You're going to match your personnel, right, based upon the skill sets of what he's going against.
Yeah.
You have Nahshon Wright, who's 6'4", and 200 plus pounds. You're going against a 6'4", number 2. Put him out there. Diggs will handle Keenan Allen.
Hey, clip this for me, Beam.
Clip it.
Come back to this.
Clip it. Shake it before you bake it.
Clip it.
Shake it before you bake it. But we just talked about yesterday putting guys in position to be successful. Putting A. Brown against Williams is not putting him in position to be successful. I'm sorry. Now, if it happens where he's in the game and he goes against him, then cool. But matching him up against him, not a good idea. Because even if you play amazing defense, he still has an advantage. Just like Calvin Johnson back in the day. Guys played really good defense against Calvin Johnson, but guess what? That boy got a gold jacket because I'm bigger than you, right? We don't need that to happen. So let's put our dog on Ricky out there who matches up against him attribute-wise and say, let's see what you got.
Only 4 corners saw snaps against Tampa Bay. Trayvon Diggs, Jordan Lewis, Maurice Kennedy, Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown had 65 snaps. That was tied with Trayvon Diggs, which is all 65 snaps on defense. Mm-hmm. Maurice Kennedy saw 2 snaps. And Johnny specifically asked about Kennedy, Rob. Do you see him mixing in a little bit more? This is a slot wide receiver kind of revolving door for the Chargers. They've got Jalen Guyton, Allen product that went to North Texas. Go Mean Green, baby. And then you have KJ Hill out of Ohio State, who was one of my favorites later in the draft last year, speedster. So you've got 2 guys in the slot that they'll kind of rotate back and forth. Do you see the Cowboys doing the same thing defensively and maybe evening out the snap counts a little bit with Jordan Lewis and Maurice Kennedy?
That's a great question. I could see it if things go the way they went early in the game, week 1. I mean, I don't think they're just going to sit there and let the same issues happen. I could see the game starting the way it did in week 1 and then adjust if you need to. And I love Isaiah's point on size and matching up. I do think if they made a change, it would probably be Maurice Kennedy first. But I get your point about the size issue. So we'll see what they do. They're going to be tested because Justin Herbert, I think he threw 27 passes in the first half.
Right.
Against Washington.
Right.
They have a great young quarterback. That's their strength. They're going to go after it. So how do the Cowboys respond? And I think it's a great question. I think, you got to be prepared to adjust if things don't go your way.
And you also have to have a defensive front that gets pressure on Herbert.
Yep.
And that's going to make guys like Anthony Brown look that much better if you're able to rush those throws from Herbert. And so all of this, again, I want to see Michael Parsons. If Michael Parsons can have more of an impact from a rushing standpoint, I think that changes the dynamic of the way that we're being just pretty much taken advantage of in secondary.
Justin Herbert, is he the best quarterback the Cowboys are going to face from here until almost Halloween?
No.
Who's on Halloween?
Yeah.
Halloween is Kirk Cousins.
Okay.
I mean, I would even throw probably Justin Herbert above that. It's just the youth thing for me. I mean, Jalen Hurts next week. Then you've got Sam Darnold week 4, Daniel Jones week 5, Mac Jones week 6, and then Kirk Cousins is on our
I answered your question before you actually said Halloween, so my bad.
So is it yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and then it's Drew Lock, Matt Ryan, and then Patrick Mahomes, those two in November. I know Matt Ryan's not what he used to be, but, I mean, this is the best quarterback you're going to see for a good amount of time.
Facts.
No doubt.
So
watch out for Jalen Hurts in week 4, but yeah.
What did you think about him, by the way? In the NFC East, the only team to get a win this past week was Philadelphia. What did you think about that?
I thought he looked great as a rookie. I know he had some tough moments, when he would be forced to kind of throw from the pocket, but he's a young player. And like what he can do to extend drives, he just gets more time in the system. I think he's going to wind up being their franchise quarterback. I really do. I really do.
Think they put their chips in the right boat?
Yeah.
Right side of the table?
I do. I mean, that's a tough decision, but you just never know, and you've got to have. It's a delicate thing. You got to have the right guys around your young quarterback. But I think he's on the right track for sure.
Both Jalen Reagor and Devontae Smith had a touchdown catch as well. So.
Yeah, it really makes my stomach turn just seeing him get that confidence that he got versus an Atlanta squad that I don't think anybody's going to think is any good.
No.
But again, it's young quarterbacks getting confidence, and that's just going to permeate. It's going to go throughout the rest of the season for him. I loved him at Alabama. I loved him at OU, and I hated that he got drafted by the Boo Eagles. I don't like him anymore now, so I don't wish him well, but it's going to be a challenge.
He's the second best starting quarterback in the division right now.
I would agree.
Right now.
Because
Ryan Fitzpatrick got hurt.
Danny Dimes,
had another fumble.
Yeah. Can't hold on to the ball.
And now with the injury in Washington, that sets them back for sure.
Yeah.
With Heineke, I just don't think he can get it done, so I mean, the NFC East is still ours.
Did you see RG3 tweeting the picture? He posted the Instagram picture. It was RG3 and it said "make the call," and it was him running out of the tunnel in Washington.
Stop it, please.
Oh, really?
Now another sewage leak is happening at this stadium.
Did you see that too?
That was so
Goodness
gross.
gracious.
That was so nasty.
Can I run out one piece of more news before we get out of here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you guys talk about kicker at all?
Oh, no, we did not.
Yeah, just real quick, Jerry on the Fan talked about how, the reports that they're bringing in Liram Hairulahu to the practice squad for depth. But Jerry mentioned something new. He said that not only was Zerline coming back from the back surgery in preseason, he had a little bit of a quad issue leading up to the season opener.
This guy's Frankenstein.
Did
Frankenstein.
He had a
quad back.
groin thing when he first got here. And then the back, and now what did you just say? Quad.
Father time.
Just something to keep an eye on going forward.
Liram Hairulahu on the practice squad now.
Father time has never failed.
Gets us all.
Gets everybody.
Get me.
Got everybody except for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him anymore.
He has an elixir.
We'll see him in the NFC Championship game. We'll figure him out later. Nobody's ever figured Tom Brady out.
Yeah, I was about to say good luck with that one. That's a good one.
That's going to do it for us here on Talking Cowboys, presented by Tostitos. Glad you've been with us here over the last 45 minutes. When we come back tomorrow, it's time to preview that Chargers offense. I know we talked a lot about Justin Herbert and those receivers today. We're going to talk more about it tomorrow and that offensive line. What do the Cowboys do to match up with this Chargers team? And then Thursday, we preview the Chargers defense. For Chris Beam in the back, Heckma Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeomans. We'll see you next time on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?